Red Mountain, that towering visage that casts a shadow across the lands of Morrowind. The tallest point in the eastern provinces, bleeding forth lava across Vvardenfell and ashlands, sending wind down from its peaks, spreading ash and blight. The literal beating heart of Vvardenfell. While this great landmark, this scar upon the land, is supposed to be this ominous, nefarious in-game region where all roads eventually lead along the main quest, the reality is a little more disappointing. This so-called mountain is hardly the dramatic visage of verticality that one would expect from, well, a mountain. Over the years, modders have tried to rectify this oversight in a variety of different ways. From Pirate Lord's 2012 Mountainous Red Mountain, which uses a model replacer to replace the rocks of Red Mountain, to admittedly pretty great effect, though in the process it does create quite the compatibility nightmare, to not 2020 Red Mountain Reborn, a conversion of Transmaster's Red Mountain from Morrowind Rebirth, giving the mountain a more volcano-like shape and feel. And modders are still, by the by, working on yet more Red Mountain overhauls. From the overly ambitious landscape total conversion mod in Star Wound, which looks incredibly scenic, though currently isn't really in a playable state, to various pet projects by half a dozen different modders. But the subject of today's mod of the day, and the focus of this video, is none other than the landscape overhaul Rocky Red Mountain by Malbogatra, and its companion compatibility patch Devilish Rocky Red Mountain by Malbogatra and Detail Devil. Rocky Red Mountain, released in 2023, is Malbogatra's third major landscape overhaul mod for Morrowind, after Spines of Madness for the Shulgorad region, and Rocky Westcache for the Westcache region. And much like those other two mods, Rocky Red Mountain is a breathtaking, beautiful, gorgeous, utterly scenic rising vista of verticality. A complete visual transformation of Red Mountain and the surrounding edges of the Ashland regions. Instead of boring, gradual slopes and uninspiring peaks, with Rocky Red Mountain you'll find dramatic, epic pillars of stone reaching up into the sky, building up not just Red Mountain, but the foliadas and landscapes around Red Mountain, with rough, rocky terrain, great heaps of stone formed and carved by millennia of lava and ash. Ancient Umiri citadels, the strongholds of the Sixth House, cling to the sides of Red Mountain, towers jutting out between peaks and pillars, ancient edifices of a long-lost civilization, ruins standing in vertical splendor upon the mountainous altar of this great volcano. And like Malbogatra's previous landscape overhauls, this mod doesn't just overhaul the landscape, but it also adds in just little new sights to see, little ruins or shrines hidden amongst all that beautiful verticality for you to find, for you to stumble upon as you make your way up the slopes or wander lost in some ceaseless, never-ending blight storm. Now, as mentioned, this landscape overhaul isn't just limited to the original vanilla game region of Red Mountain, but also extends to the slopes and hills and foliadas around Red Mountain, such as the rocky crevices and canyons between Margan and Aldrune, or the Foliada Mamea as it approaches Ghost Gate, or the edges of the Foliada Banidad, or the hills descending down into the ruins of Kogarun. In truth, this mod covers just quite a massive area, and it is all incredibly scenic, with vertical delights throughout. And originally, as you might imagine, this would have been a compatibility nightmare. But luckily, modders have stepped in once again to save the day with new, more compatible variants. In particular, I'm using Devilish Rocky Red Mountain, a patch made by Detail Devil, that provides compatibility support for dozens of mods surrounding and touching upon Red Mountain. This includes support for mods like Ghostgate Fortress, the Beacons of Maya, the Beacon of St. Realms, Memento Mori, Aldrune Outskirts, Kogaroon, Extinct City of Ash and Sulphur, Mark Grand Forest, Rise of House Talvani, Dark Knight's Greater Doom Ruins, Beautiful Cities of Morrowind, Readme Library of Vivek Overhaul, and even Red Mountain Reborn. You can see many of those mods in our showcase here, and while they aren't all, necessarily compatible with each other, they do just blend in beautifully with Rocky Red Mountain, creating a far more exciting and enticing exploration experience. Mods like Memento Mori, the Beacons of Amaya, the Beacon of St. Realms, and Ghostgate Fortress are mods that I consider to be must-haves. And it is lovely, just lovely to have them all just mixed in with those gorgeous arcing shadows of Rocky Red Mountain. Combined with Spines of Madness and Rocky West Gash, modders have done just a fantastic job of reshaping the landscapes of Morrowind to include more detail and more verticality. With Rocky Red Mountain, nearly every region is now covered by at least one major landscape overhaul. Brought Morrowind swamp trees for the Bitter Coast, Ascadia Land of Pilgrimage for the Ascadian Isles, of Grazelands and Song of the Grazelands for, obviously, the Grazelands, Azura's Coast Redone, Malagamar Mountains, and the Mountain of Fear. And all these mods, every last one, have been released in just the last 5 years. The world and lands of Morrowind look very different today than they did 23 years ago. But all these fantastic mods, Rocky Red Mountain included, still capture that alien sense of wonder that Morrowind evokes. But with heaps of verticality to make your adventure just all the more exciting. I do just really love all these mods, but, that's just about all there is to see here. Or, enough to give you an idea of how this all looks in game. So that's just our mod of the day. As always, I've been your host, Golf Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.